First Contact's Deception. Admiral Helena Reyes stood motionless on the observation deck of the EDS Defiant, Earth's first true deep space battleship. Through the reinforced viewport, she watched as her fleet of 30 vessels arranged themselves in a defensive formation around Jupiter's orbit. The ships looked insignificant against the vastness of space. Humanity's first and only interstellar defense fleet, hastily assembled after decades of preparation. Admiral, long-range sensors have confirmed the readings, Lieutenant Commander Jackson said, his voice tight with tension. We're tracking over 200 unidentified vessels approaching from beyond Neptune's orbit. Their energy signatures match nothing in our database. Helena nodded, her weathered face betraying no emotion despite the gravity churning in her stomach. Humanity had spent generations debating whether we were alone in the universe. Now they had their answer, and it came in the form of an armada. Time to intercept, she asked, her voice calm and measured despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. Approximately 17 hours at their current velocity, Jackson replied, his fingers dancing across the holographic display. They're moving faster than anything we've ever encountered. Our preliminary analysis suggests their propulsion technology is at least 3 centuries beyond our current capabilities. Helena turned away from the viewport, facing the assembled officers on the bridge. Most were young, too young for what might be coming, but they were the best Earth had to offer, selected from every nation, and trained for this very possibility. Send the first contact protocols on all frequencies, she ordered, and alert Earth Defense Command. I want every satellite, orbital platform, and ground-based installation at full readiness. The response from the alien fleet came 3 hours later, a transmission that automatically translated itself into perfect English, a fact that sent a chill down Helena's spine. They called themselves the Draconians, a species that had conquered 17 star systems and established what they termed a benevolent hegemony across their region of space. The alien commander, Supreme Executor Vexorn, appeared on the main view screen. His reptilian features were imposing. Iridescent scales, vertical slit pupils, and a crest of spines that flared when he spoke. We come in peace, Vexorn declared, his mandibles clicking slightly between words. Your species has reached the threshold of interstellar capability, which qualifies you for protection under the Draconian hegemony. We offer you technological advancement, cultural exchange, and security. In return, we require only nominal resource contributions and acceptance of our governance. Helena recognized the honeyed words of conquest. History was filled with similar promises from technologically superior forces to those they sought to subjugate. We are honored by your offer, she replied diplomatically, buying time. Earth would welcome cultural exchange and technological cooperation. However, we have our own governance systems that serve us well. Perhaps we could discuss a mutual alliance instead. Vexorn's spines flattened momentarily, a gesture Helena couldn't interpret but suspected wasn't positive. Your optimism is admirable, Admiral, he said, but misplaced. The choice before you is simple: joyful acceptance or necessary pacification. We have encountered 43 spacefaring species in our expansion. All now prosper under draconian guidance, whether they initially welcomed it or not. The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the bridge in silence. Orders, Admiral, Jackson asked. Helena's jaw tightened. Contact Earth Defense Command. Authorization Prometheus Protocol. Jackson's eyes widened. The Prometheus Protocol. But that's our only chance, Helena finished. They believe we're outmatched because of what they can see. It's time to show them what we've kept hidden. For decades, since the first theoretical physicists proposed the possibility of extraterrestrial threats, humanity had been preparing in secret. While the public space programs built conventional ships and stations, a classified initiative had been developing technologies that violated conventional understanding of physics: quantum entanglement communication, dark energy weaponry, and nanoscale manufacturing systems. The Prometheus Protocol activated Earth's true defenses. Across the solar system, seemingly ordinary satellites and space stations began to transform. Civilian research outposts revealed military-grade weapon systems, asteroid mining facilities converted into missile platforms, and deep within Jupiter's atmosphere, the massive gas harvesting stations, ostensibly collecting helium-3, activated the planet-scale gravitational lens that would serve as humanity's greatest defensive weapon. Helena watched the tactical display as her fleet dispersed, each ship activating stealth systems that rendered them nearly invisible to conventional sensors. The alien armada continued its approach, unaware that the seemingly primitive human defenders were rapidly evolving into something far more dangerous. They expect us to either surrender or make a desperate, futile stand, Helena told her officers during the final briefing. Their psychology profiles indicate a species that values order and hierarchy above all. They expect us to behave according to predictable models of either submission or doomed resistance. She smiled grimly. So we'll give them something completely unpredictable. When the Draconian fleet crossed the orbit of Mars, they transmitted their final ultimatum: surrender within 1 hour or face pacification. Helena sent a response that appeared to be a desperate plea for more time, complete with deliberate transmission errors suggesting Earth's communications were failing under stress. The Draconians, believing they were witnessing the collapse of human resolve, pressed their advantage. Their vanguard of 30 ships accelerated toward Earth, weapons charging. They never saw the attack coming. The Jupiter gravitational lens, humanity's greatest secret weapon, activated. It focused and amplified an energy beam that traveled through subspace, bypassing conventional defensive shields. 5 Draconian vessels simply ceased to exist, converted into their component particles in milliseconds. Before the aliens could respond, the seemingly defenseless human fleet executed a maneuver that defied conventional space tactics. Instead of maintaining formation, they scattered in all directions, each ship launching dozens of autonomous drone weapons that had been disguised as escape pods. Quantum Communication Network active, reported Communications Officer Chen. All Earth defense systems synchronized. The Draconian command ship transmitted again, this time without the careful translation algorithms. Even without understanding the language, Helena recognized the tone of confusion and rage. Humanity's response was a coordinated attack unlike anything the Draconians had encountered in their centuries of conquest. The automated defense systems hidden throughout the solar system activated simultaneously, targeting the alien fleet with precision strikes from multiple vectors. The Draconian vanguard, expecting an easy victory against primitives, found themselves caught in a 3-dimensional trap. Human quantum weapons bypassed their shields by attacking through dimensional space the aliens didn't know existed. The automated drones, guided by distributed artificial intelligence systems, adapted faster than the Draconian targeting computers could respond. When Supreme Executor Vexorn realized what was happening, he ordered an immediate tactical retreat, sacrificing his vanguard to preserve the main fleet. "They're pulling back," Jackson reported, unable to keep the excitement from his voice. Helena nodded, watching the tactical display as the remaining Draconian ships reversed course. "They'll be back," she said quietly. "This was just their scouting force. Now they know we're not the easy conquest they expected." "But we've shown our hand," Jackson countered. "They'll adapt to our technology." Helena turned to face her bridge crew, her expression resolute. "No, Lieutenant Commander. We've shown them exactly what we wanted them to see." She gestured to the tactical officer. "Activate Phase 2. It's time to let them experience humanity's real advantage." As the Draconian fleet regrouped beyond Mars' orbit, Helena transmitted a message throughout the human fleet. They thought size and numbers made them unstoppable. They thought technological superiority guaranteed victory, but they've never faced humanity before, and we're just getting started. Humanity unleashed. Supreme Executor Vexorn raged as the tactical displays showed the destruction of his vanguard fleet. 23 ships lost to a species that, by all intelligence reports, should have been centuries away from developing effective space combat capabilities. How is this possible? He demanded, his crest fully extended in fury. Their ships were primitive. Their weapons were rudimentary. Science Director Krell approached cautiously, aware of the executor's legendary temper. The humans have concealed their true technological advancement, he explained. Our preliminary analysis suggests they have made breakthroughs in quantum physics applications that our scientists theorized but never successfully implemented. Vexorn's secondary eyelids flickered, a sign of deep thought among his species. Can we counter them? With the main fleet, yes, Krell assured him. Now that we understand their capabilities, we can adapt our defensive systems. Their surprise advantage is gone. The executor nodded. Prepare the armada for full invasion protocol. These humans have earned the honor of our undivided attention. Back on Earth, humanity was mobilizing on an unprecedented scale. For the first time in history, every nation had united under a single purpose: survival. The decades-old contingency plans for extraterrestrial contact, plans that many had dismissed as paranoid fantasy, were now being implemented globally. In the strategic command bunker beneath the Rocky Mountains, Admiral Rice conferred with the Earth Defense Council via quantum-secured channels. The Prometheus protocol worked exactly as designed, she reported. We've eliminated their advance force and forced them to regroup, but their main fleet remains intact, and they'll adapt to the technologies we've revealed. General Zhao of the Pan-Asian Alliance leaned forward. Then we deploy the Theseus contingency. Nods around the virtual table. The Theseus contingency was humanity's true defense strategy, named after the paradox of a ship that remains the same despite having every component replaced. The Draconians believe they now understand our technological capabilities, Helena explained. Their military doctrine, based on their encounters with other species, assumes a linear progression of technological adaptation. They expect us to use the same weapons, just more of them. She smiled grimly. Instead, we'll change everything. Across Earth and throughout the solar system, seemingly ordinary infrastructure began to transform. Civilian communication networks reconfigured to become quantum entanglement defense grids. Ocean thermal energy converters revealed their secondary function as gravity manipulation arrays. And in orbit, thousands of microsatellites that had been cataloged as space debris activated, creating a planetary defense network of unprecedented complexity. When the Draconian main fleet approached Earth 2 days later, they came prepared for the quantum weapons and gravitational lens technology they had encountered before. Their shields had been recalibrated, their tactics adjusted. What they weren't prepared for was a completely different approach. As their fleet entered the optimal attack range, Earth appeared to vanish from their sensors. Not cloaked or hidden, simply gone, replaced by what appeared to be a spatial anomaly their instruments couldn't penetrate. Impossible, Science Director Krell exclaimed, frantically working his console. They've created a localized phase shift that's moving the entire planet slightly out of alignment with our reality. Before Vexorn could respond, his flagship was rocked by impacts. Across the fleet, alarms blared as ships reported damage from weapons that weren't registering on sensors until after they struck. The humans had deployed their temporal displacement artillery, weapons that existed partially outside normal time, appearing in sensor range only after they had already impacted their targets. They're attacking from multiple temporal frames. Krell shouted over the chaos. Our predictive targeting systems can't lock on to weapons that exist in different points in time simultaneously. Vexorn watched in disbelief as his carefully arranged fleet formation began to disintegrate. The humans weren't fighting according to any recognizable doctrine of space warfare. Their smaller ships appeared to move in ways that violated the laws of inertia. Their weapon systems changed properties between firings. Even their communication patterns seemed designed to confuse and misdirect. Adaptation is clearly their evolutionary advantage, he muttered, a reluctant admiration mixing with his rage. They don't just adapt their technology. They adapt their entire approach to warfare. The turning point came 8 hours into the battle. The Draconian fleet, still numerically superior but increasingly disorganized, attempted to concentrate their attack on what their intelligence identified as Earth's primary defense control center, a massive installation on the moon. It was a trap. The lunar base, apparently critical to Earth's defense network, was actually a sophisticated decoy. As the Draconian ships concentrated their firepower on the facility, quantum triggers activated the real surprise. The seemingly solid lunar surface beneath the base liquefied as billions of microscopic robots, disguised as lunar regolith, awakened simultaneously. These nanomachines swarmed onto the closest Draconian vessels, bypassing shields designed to repel energy and kinetic weapons. Once attached, they began disassembling the alien ships at the molecular level, converting the components into more nanomachines. Aboard the Defiant, Admiral Reyes watched the tactical display as dozens of Draconian ships succumbed to the nanomachine assault. "The Draconian fleet is breaking formation," Jackson reported. "They're attempting to retreat beyond the moon's orbit." Helena nodded. "Now we spring the final trap. Activate the Sol gravitational network." Throughout the solar system, gravitational manipulation devices that had been disguised as routine stellar observation platforms activated simultaneously. They created a complex web of gravitational distortions that effectively trapped the Draconian fleet within the inner solar system. "Transmission from the Draconian command ship," Chen announced. Supreme Executor Vex Orn appeared on screen, his posture noticeably less imperious than during their first encounter. "You have fought with unexpected skill and resourcefulness," he acknowledged, his translator struggling to convey the complex emotions in his voice. "The Draconian hegemony recognizes your right to independence. We propose an immediate cessation of hostilities." Helena exchanged glances with her officers before responding. "We accept your proposal for peace, Supreme Executor, but understand that Earth will not stand alone or unprotected. We are prepared to extend friendship to any species that approaches with genuine peaceful intent, and to defend ourselves against any who come as conquerors." The terms of the armistice were simple. The Draconians would withdraw from the solar system and recognize Earth's sovereignty. In return, humanity would not deploy their newfound weapons beyond their borders. As the remaining Draconian ships limped away from Earth, Admiral Reyes addressed the combined forces of Earth's defense. "Today we've answered the question that has haunted humanity since we first looked up at the stars. Are we alone? And if not, can we survive in a universe with older, more advanced civilizations?" She looked at the tactical display, showing the retreating alien fleet. "The answer is clear. Not only can we survive, we can thrive. Not because our weapons are superior, but because we possess something more valuable than any technology: the human capacity for adaptation, innovation, and cooperation in the face of existential threat." In the months that followed, intelligence gathered from Draconian databases revealed the true scope of galactic politics. The Draconians were merely one of several competing powers, all of whom had now become acutely aware of the newcomers from Earth. Representatives from 3 different alien alliances arrived in the solar system within a year, this time with genuine diplomatic credentials and considerably more respect than the Draconians had shown. Earth established its first extraterrestrial embassy on the International Space Station, specially expanded for the purpose. Admiral Reyes, now serving as Earth's first ambassador to interstellar affairs, welcomed delegates from across the galaxy. "Humanity doesn't seek conquest or domination," she told the assembled representatives. "But neither will we be conquered or dominated. We offer friendship, trade, and mutual advancement to all who approach with similar intentions." A delegate from the Arcturian Concordat, a federation of 17 species known for their philosophical advancement, responded. "The galaxy has existed in a delicate balance of power for millennia. Your emergence has disrupted that balance, perhaps for the better. You've demonstrated that advancement need not follow predictable paths, that innovation born of necessity can surpass methodical expansion of existing technologies. Helena smiled. That's always been humanity's greatest strength. We don't follow the expected path. We make our own. As she looked out at the representatives of civilizations thousands of years older than human recorded history, Helena thought about the long journey that had brought humanity to this moment. From cave-dwelling primates to interstellar defenders in a mere blink of cosmic time. The stars had always called to humanity, inspiring wonder and fear in equal measure. Now, at last, we had answered that call, not as conquerors or the conquered, but as equals in a vaster community than our ancestors could have imagined. The Draconians had assumed their fleet was unstoppable because it had never been stopped before. They couldn't conceive of a primitive species outthinking rather than outgunning them. Their mistake was assuming that technological advancement follows a single, predictable path, and that any species would approach problems the same way they did. They thought their fleet was unstoppable until they met humanity, and the galaxy would never be the same.